everyone, Duane and Nadia. It's Duane, Food, Travel, and Fun. And I'm going to bring you along on a little adventure as we get our boat ready for the share. So as you know... Alright guys, so as you can see, I'm coming around, I'm making the platforms for the base. And I'm going to make this last one. So it's taking a few hours. They take a little while to make. But in the end, I will be in good shape with my new seat cushions. I'll have to set this on a tripod if I want to show you the actual cutting. I'm using a hot wire foam cutter, and that's how I slice through it and follow the shape. You don't actually leave the wood in place, you just draw a line with a marker and then follow it. So the wood is just a template. You'd probably break the wire if you actually rubbed against the wood. So there it is. This is the bow piece, and it's almost 4 feet long, and that's 3-inch foam that I've been cutting. So this should be interesting. Alright, so I've come in with my marker and I've drawn out the pattern. And there you go. That's the pattern of my bow piece. So let me cut around and I'll show you a little bit of how the cutting goes. Alright, so I turned the cutter on. It only takes like 5 seconds or so. I'm not sure how great a view this is going to show, but there we go. I like to do a little bit of a sawing motion and just keep it nice and vertical as I go. And initially, I'm not going to worry too much about what is happening, but now I'm going to pull this back so that I can just keep cutting in this nice straight process, nice straight flow. You can see it's going fairly quick. As long as, you know, this cutter heats up, it's actually like a very... The cutting wire that is used is a lot like fishing leader, like a very fine, lightweight fish leader line. But I like that it really lets me get a nice shape to it. And I can come around this curve here and finish off the process. Come on, baby, right there. I'll clean that up a bit more. You can tell it actually did a pretty nice job. And I'll turn it off, double check, that's it. So there's that first cut. And not bad. This next cut is the long 4-footer. So let's see, she's cutting in there okay. I'm just getting it started. Once I reach my depth, I'm going to actually start doing some separating so I can continue down the line. I have to actually bend the foam to keep cutting. It's a little challenging, but not too bad. So I'm going to stop right there and I'll show you when I'm done. Alright, so I put the piece on there for weight, and I'm approaching the end, and it really helps stabilize things to help me get a nice, really straight cut all the way through here. And yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that cut. Let me kill it and I'll show you real quick what I ended up with. So let's see. So that's, let's see, there you go. The actual length of the cut. It's not bad. It looks a little distorted, I think, in the camera, but it is actually pretty good. So I drew this bevel, and it's really because there's a hatch that goes in front of this that is only up from here, from the bottom where the seat is, it comes up at 2 inches, and then the hatch comes down, and that's the storage front. So I'm going to cut away this whole section here, and I hope that when I shape it, I'll have an easier time opening the hatch on the boat. You will see this later on when it's actually in place. So here we go, my little moment of truth. Oh yeah, look at that. Not bad. I'll take that. Alright guys, so there's our fabric. It is a vinyl. It's a Pacific blue, I believe. So I like to snug it up. What I did was I basically took this measurement, added about 1.5 inches. I'm going to start in the middle. I have stainless steel staples, and this is air powered off my compressor, and I'll work from the center out. Even pressure, not too much. Every couple of inches. Not getting too tight to the end. I like this compressor gun because it fully sets the staples really nicely. So I'm going to repeat this on the other side. Whoops. If I don't kill myself in the process. Now on this side, it's got to go a little differently. So because this side has a curve to it. So for now, even though I have all that extra, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm still going to go my same distance in. The edge is there. Give myself a little room. And still just pull it. And I'm trying to work it so it follows the curve. What's going to happen is there's going to be kinks on this side here, and that's just going to be something you have to actually accept and kind of live with. You're not going to see any type of rough kinks on this edge because this is the edge that's going to be against the hull, so we don't really have to contend with it too much and go too crazy trying to get it, so it has to be absolutely perfect. Nah, it doesn't really show up like that. So it's better to get a nice snug pull and let your kink happen. Let these waves form, because otherwise you're not going to get a good fit on the face that shows. So, you know, I'm sure there's an upholstery guy out there who would be like, no, 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 you don't have to do that. But I'm not that guy. So I'll give you one quick peek at how it came out, and you'll see. So it's actually really, she's not bad. She's not bad, and I can pull a little bit more, but that's the start of it. And this next part is obviously a bit more tricky at this point. What you're trying to do is form a nice corner here so that it stays snug. You're wrapping a Christmas present is what you're doing here. Okay, you want to make sure you don't really lose that corner. You want to keep it. Once you got it and you're happy with that, once again, same type stapling. I like to keep that going. Don't want it to change on me. And then I'm going to do this other side first before I try to bring this up. I want to put both sides in. Same idea, each side. Put this down. This is actually, it is going to pull a little differently because it's a different shape, but that's all right. Make sure I get it nice where I'm happy with it. I really want to get it into the corner here. I don't want to pull it away from this corner. If it goes a tiny bit over, I'm not gonna get too worked up over it. Remember, all of this is down. All of this is coming underneath the seat itself. It's being a little bit of a pain here, but you know what? It's actually, she's pretty close. Okay, so I had to split that off for a sec, but here we go. So making sure from the corner that I like it, and I like it. Getting that good pull from each side. I'm going to come around this area here and do a little bit more. Okay, that's it. There she is. That is what I'm looking for. I said this is the side you see, and this. She's nice and snug. Voila, love it. A few more to go. Alright, so I am fabricating the rear seat now. And there's my hatch that's going to give me my access. Nothing is glued or anything, it's just kind of resting in place here. It's sitting on a bigger piece of plywood. But yeah, I'll have my access right here, be able to lift it up and have access to underneath. And there it is. Blue cushion on each side, center frame. Gonna hold our big igloo cooler when it's all set in place. I'll show you that later too. Quick walk around. This is one side that I just did. I want the seam to go straight down on the corner because this is the front and what you'll see. And I'm going to put a piece of wood trim like right here too, because I can't leave this exposed. So it's going to cover the whole way, all the way across. I just have to do the other side now. But that is it. That's where she begins. Obviously this isn't in place yet. So the trick to making this part work was a good layout, first off. And what I had done was, on this line, I have everything marked from the other side, and I had to staple this material down so that it would hold on that line. And then it goes all the way, so it comes underneath, out, up, and around this edge, and then this way, and then back down completely, and wraps underneath, which I'll try to, there you go. So everything wraps, but you notice, see, the right side doesn't wrap. It's rolled under right there, but works beautifully. Alright, so everything's lined up, it's on the line, it's stapled from underneath, the foam is in place where I need it to be. I came around underneath and did my staples down this line here, just kind of snug it up all the way. So now I have to flip the whole thing over, and as you can see, it's coming. I'm going to essentially do exactly the same thing on this end that I just did on that end. So one of the things I do is I cut right even to the edge. You can see over here as well. Cut it right to that edge. Because of the way you fold the corner in, when you bring it in, you want to end up with a nice straight line. And if this is connected, all of everything here has to kind of be folded in, and it just gets too bulky. So to keep it nice and not bulky, that's what I did on these edges. I actually did the same cut right to the corner for both this side and the far side over there, so that it will make a nice tight corner. And it just, if you ever do this, you'll see what I mean. Leaving it connected right there just bulks the whole thing up, and it's much better this way. Alright guys, so this is the whole concept. The frame is still just resting in place. It's not actually glued. The blue pads do mark the full length of it. It's just sitting on a big sheet of plywood just to kind of hold it up. And the idea is this gets up here. It's not quite this high, but it gets me off my knees, where this is going to be the actual seat height at the base, and then another 20 inches or so up it'll be up at my waist. So I use this as a big cutting board and a place for to work with the fish. So there you go, I'll be off my knees, and there's my frame. This is only going to be missing once I get those framework in place. The only thing is missing is right along here on the bottom, where I'm going to put a stripe of, I don't know what I'm going to use for wood just yet, but I'm going to put a piece of wood there, and it'll clean up that whole front edge, and this will look nice and finished. I'll secure all of that. I'll round the edges off, and I even use, like right here, I do like a little bungee hook, and I'll probably bungee hook right to this. Put a little secure piece there, bungee it there, both sides, and this thing won't move. It'll just, that's it. It'll hold, stay in place, and when I need to get underneath it, it's easy enough to lift it up and go through the trapdoor. So that's it. Big project coming together. Did a lot tonight, and I'm done. All right, so I'm using this Polyshades mahogany color, and I'm going to cover all of the plywood in Polyshades. I'm going to do the bottom, whatnot, just so I can get a nice seal, get edges, everything. And to give it a finished look. Plain plywood, exposed, not so pretty. So I'm going to do a little bit of staining and polying, all in one. All right. I'm definitely liking the result. Now I could put a second coat of this on here, but I'm actually not going to. My goal here is really just to seal the wood and kind of give it a consistent color, and I've done that. So and I don't want to build up too much, so maybe next year it'll need a second coat, and that'll help me get a nice glossier finish. And I won't have built it all up this year. So there it is, but everything's sealed. She looks great. I'm psyched. So I'm back to working on this frame. You can see the screws I used are these coated deck screws. They're not stainless, but they'll definitely do the job, and they have like a very wide spiral on the teeth, which really grips. You can see it here. It grips the composite material really well. So I'm pre-drilling, pilot hole, countersink, everything to get these in there. And this is the bottom side. Only spacing them several inches apart, getting a lot of screws, a lot of secure in there, and gonna flip it over and put the lid on. We'll put the hatch on once this is all set. Alright guys, so this is just a quick little, so my tolerances are really tight. So if you notice, I'm using toothpicks on each corner and on each side. And here, there's one, you can hardly see it, but it's there. And there you go. So what that does is that kind of ensures I have a gap everywhere I need it. And there you go. I can put my hinges where I want them. Fit, center them, space them out. I'm going to use 3 hinges. And when they're all tight, things should still work. It shouldn't rub anywhere, which is what I'm trying to avoid by using the toothpicks. We'll see how I do. This is the final product. There we go. Worked out pretty well. And there we go. Opens up. Those are the tie downs that are going to hold that cooler up top there, the big white one, in place so it doesn't just fly away. But there it is. Psyched. Gonna go put it in the boat right now. Well, there she is, guys. And as you can see, boom, gives me my access. Beautiful. Got a couple cushions to make, got some gulleys to put in. Making progress. Well, I'm back. Been doing a lot of fabrication. Got my rear cushions in. Got my gunnel pads in. I'll show you that in a sec. Making the side pads now that are going to go all the way around. I'm going to have to do 3 on each side. And I'll show you why I'm thinking about doing 3. See, there's a slight curve to everything. Especially if you really look down, you can see there's a lot of curve. So I may, back here on this back edge, put a slight bevel. Just so this whole plywood sits a little tighter. I'm thinking that's what I want to do. Just slightly, maybe just taking that last layer out and let it drop back just to close this gap right here. Because I'm only going to be using Velcro to hold it on. And it'll do pretty good. I mean, these all get Velcroed as well. See, they used to be, there's a mark where the old strip was. It doesn't take a lot to hold them in place. But I really want to make sure they're nice and secure. I did have cushions end up kind of here and there last year. This is the pad that's stiff so you can step on it and not crush your cushions. That's what that is. But yeah, a lot of work went in getting this all set up and really looking nice here. I can show you nice and close in here what I've done. I put a backer. That's the white piece is actually a composite material. Maybe I can show you. Let's see. Hold on. I could actually lie down here, and you can see there's actually a channel up top that everything kind of hides behind. It stays way up top and comes out way back there. And all of those big cables, all of those, there were all those protected shields there, were just sitting in the gunnel last year. They would just, it really sucked. And then in an earlier video, you may see I had over here a big piece of plywood that took up this entire space. And because it would have gone behind the new pads, I got rid of it, and that's why I did that whole reinforcement. And in the end, I was actually really pleased because it opened up so much more space for me. The one last thing I want. All right, so I'm building the backing plates for my little side cushions here. And the problem I run into is right there. So see, look, it's touching up front, it's touching in back. Yeah, I got quite a significant gap there. There's a little gap on this one, I'm not too worried. And that one, I'm definitely not worried at all. But I can't leave that because if I secure the cushion to it, it's going to show that gap. If I try to take the material out of the back of that, I literally have to take it to nothing. So the answer is kind of do like what I did over here. And you'll see it right here. I'll bring it around. So there you go. I took a piece of mahogany that I had, scribed it with my little scribe tool. There you go. And ended up with this. So this is the waist, so we'll get rid of that. So now we've got this. So I don't know if I can do how well I can do this right here one-handed, but I'm gonna try. Okay, see if it you can at least get close, right? Doesn't have to be perfect, but because you will get the idea when you see it. There you go. And I have to do another piece on the bottom so that it gets nice and consistent. And that's it. There's your fit. So a lot of extra work, but you'll end up with a tight seam back there, and it looks like it's really just one piece of wood when really they'll be, I'm going to glue them and screw them together and all that. So no one will ever know but me. All right, so I've fit this piece. Actually, I decided I'm going to leave like little gaps, which I think will look nice. I took this piece, and I'll bring it down here, and I sanded it with a taper, added the bottom piece in, got it all fit nicely, did a lot of additional rounding where needed because of this rounded spot and this spot here, just so it gives a good fit. But yeah, it really, she goes right in, and as you can see, that seam is just great now. So my problem with having a bad gap is resolved, at least for this one. I got a small gap here, and even a small one there. They're really small. I did do some tapering, a little bit off each one, you know, off the ends here and a little here, but it's not quite enough on that one. I think it's fine on that. That's so close. I don't know. We'll see what I put in there for filler. I may just put a piece of, I have a 1/4 inch composite material that I could actually stick a little bit of it back there. It's only about an 1/8 inch gap. It's very small. So, and as soon as you're here, it's gone. So, all right, so here it is. I'll just kind of pan around the two sides. Yeah, I actually did. I put a little bit of a composite filler on that one. But yeah, so let's see if I can step back enough here to show the whole thing. It's gonna be a little tough. Well, not bad. There you go. You really see just about all of it. So it took a while. That was not easy to do. I did get on this other project. I think my little caps are in, and I glued them in place so they don't just come off. But they'll protect this padding, and this does actually work as I wanted it to. It opens up well, no problem. Right into my little storage area. There we go. I'm pleased. It snaps in nicely. That'll stay right there. I'll let the wire will feed right through that for the trolling motor when I bring it back up. Like that. So this season I'm not going to replace these dash covers because I just don't trust taking the windshields off and then knowing that I'm going to get nothing's going to break. I mean, there's only 16 screws in total, so it'll come off. But I'm concerned about if I break a piece of glass, repairing it will take time. Just, nah. You know what? So yeah, there's a bit of shaping that has to go on here. I determine the angle on the bow and on this section so that these can meet cushion to cushion. So that's the first one. Alright, this will be a little quick thing. I have to still Velcro those cushions in place, but I'm pretty happy. It came out nice. And I sat up there and it's actually really comfortable. So looking back a bit, yeah, it's all coming together. I'm going to Velcro these in and put the actual seats back in place. Well, it is March 18th. The day has arrived. I am taking it out. Getting ready, going to go out in another hour or two. I'm feeling a little bit of a breeze. I'm bringing it to Ocean Grove, which is nice and protected. I got some things I really got to take care of for the trolling motor and whatnot. I really got to set up the GPS, get it all working. So I am doing a little cruise, and I will try to get a few pictures for you guys while I'm out there at least. But let me show you where we're at. I'm going to flip this around. And here we are. That's the boat, where she's at. I've only got one thing left I want to do, and that's put in another kill switch on the front. I have the kill switch, but I didn't have the right butt terminals to actually finish wiring it. So I just left it as is. But yeah, the boat is finally cleaned up, all nice and ready to go. That's a first for me, very pleased. Let me, there you go. Oops, wrong way. Zoom out a bit. And there she is. And I guess we'll see you soon. So I took this opportunity to break out my drone before I went out on the boat, and this is me flying it around, trying to get a nice bird's eye view of things. In the end, the floating ramps, the floating docks were not in place, and I was unable to actually take the boat out this day. I could have taken it out if it were high tide, but at low tide, the way it was, that just was not happening. So I'll let you continue watching the video that I've included here, and that's it. I can actually see a shadow of the drone like at the edge of the driveway flying around, and I hope to get a lot more drone footage out there when I do get on the water. So that was my boat rebuild in 2023. Full restoration of everything I could get to with the time given. It's Duane from Duane and Nadia's Food, Travel, and Fun. Thank you everybody for tuning in and watching this video. Remember to like, subscribe, and tell your friends. See ya.